Good evening and welcome to Feel Good Talk Love 101. I'm your host, Charles Blakely, along with my man, Naeem Najib, host of Love 101. And we have a new family member, y'all. All right, we have Arthur, Visionary, Elsie Logan. What's going on? Well, I'm going to say what's going on. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? How about that? There you go.
What's up, brother? What's up?
Hey, you see,
Hey,
you messed my
Naeem.
intro because I come with another the regular intro, threw me off a little bit, but I'm cool. So how y'all doing tonight?
Doing great.
Feeling good.
Awesome. Hey, before we get started, of course we gotta pay bills to our sponsor, which is the A Game. So we're going to do that right now. Here's the A Game commercial. We'll be right back. And that's the A Game, great for stamina, vitality, energy, and strength, and also libido. So if you want a free sample, give me a call at 302-723-2836. Again, 302-723-2836. So before we even get started, I just want to say what's going on, Naeem. Let's start off with you first, brother. How you doing tonight, man? Let's do it right.
I'm doing great. You already know. I'm here to join the conversation about love, healthy relationships, and also toxic relationships. Because we're starting our class in 2 days. So Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern is his first class, and 7 p.m. is the second class. Well, same first class, just different time for it. So y'all want to register for that, go to healingtoxicrelationships.com. And we're going to talk about how to recognize and purify toxic relationships, which is something we all are familiar with. So don't play.
Yes, indeed. Hey, and last but not least, I just want to, she's not new. I can't say she's new to the family because we've been working together for a while now. But again, and I knew Elsie for a long time, but I'm going to give her time to introduce herself. So everybody, author, visionary, Elsie Logan. Let everybody know who you are, and we'll go from there.
Well, thank you, Charles. We haven't known each other for a while, but I'm glad to be here with you and my new brother.
Yes,
so for those that do not know me, my name is Elsie Logan. I am the visionary and founder of the Phenomenal Women's Network. We are an all-inclusive network, social network, and support group for women from all walks of life. And in us doing what we do, we are all about empowering, uplifting, and transforming the lives of women from all walks of life. So I'm just here to share, and I'm here to learn.
Awesome. That was awesome. So now I'm going to let you do your thing as always, and get into the topic for tonight. So do I need to share your screen? You're on mute, brother.
Okay. Yeah. So
okay.
Today, you muted, unmute. Okay. So here we go. So today we're going to do it a little differently. Instead of, y'all are familiar with the facts of love and fear. Let me make this so that you can see it. And this is just the universal principles. This is actually in the Toxic Relationships course book, and it is in part 2, Understanding. So these are the principles of love and fear. So let's just read this, get an idea of it real quick. Elsie, are you able to read? Is it big enough on your screen for you to read or not?
It's a little small to me.
Okay, well, don't strain. I'll read this part.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So to better understand toxic relationship, we must look at the universal principles that govern toxic or abusive relationships. We'll also look at universal principles that govern healthy relationships. So what is the beauty in using universal principles as a foundation for your understanding? Universal principles are true. They're true in all relationships. They're easy to understand, easy to recognize, easy to apply. So let me get my thing right here. Oh, I see. It's giving me a different thing. All right. So in the clarity chart below, you'll learn everything you need to know about healthy and toxic relationship principles. So pay close attention. These are the facts of love and fear. Now, you know that toxic relationships on the left based on fear and force, and the healthy relationships based on freedom. Now, instead of just looking at it that way, I want to look at it like this. On the left side is a call for what's on the right side. So fear and force is a call for freedom, just like pain is a call for healing. Toxicity is a call for purification. And looking at it this way, you don't get stuck in just like, oh man, that's crazy. That's an attack. That's abusive. It's like, yeah, but it is, and it's a call for something else. So confusion is a call for clarity, as you see on the third one. It says conflict and confusion is a call for clarity and communication.
Mm-hmm.
And because you don't want to just be left with the confusion, right? So you're calling for clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Just like force is a call for freedom, because there's no force in freedom. There's no pressure. There's no force. Like Charles, we have a required donation of $20 for the game. Like, what is that? Like, it either costs $20 or it's a donation. It's not a forced donation. Like, we have a, suggested donation of $20 for admission. It's like, okay, well, I don't have it. Like, well, you can't come in then. It's like, well, it's not a donation. It's just it's a cover. It's a price.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a donation, then you don't have to suggest it, because it's a donation is voluntary. Right. So at the same time, freedom, you're free. You are free to pay, free not to pay. Still using that example, but it doesn't mean that you'll be turned away because you don't pay. If the event or whatever it is saying, well, it's just whatever it is you can afford to give, even if it's nothing. So force is a call for freedom. When someone's trying to force someone to be, let's use a common example. LC, what would you say is a common stumbling block people run into in relationships where they're trying to change the other person or control them? What's something you would see is very popular?
So you want me to give you a scenario of that?
Scenario, example, it could be anything, something that comes to mind, you may have experience with, that someone's told you about, whatever.
Okay. So let me, correct me here. Okay. One thing that I just tell on myself. I like to tell on myself so that when I get real with people, they already know I'm not trying to come at them in a way that, it's a place from love. So I remember when I started, when my mate and I began to get more serious, I cut off all my male friends. I would be cordial when I would see them and all of that, but I cut them off, because I thought in my mind, and I hadn't done that work yet, this is going to cause a problem in my new relationship. So then I expected for my mate to do the same thing, and it's where's the freedom in that, So I'll stop there, Naeem.
That's a good, because you kind of forced yourself to do that with, like you said, the expectation that it would be reciprocated. And that's a good example, because, there's a lot of, that's very common. It is very common. It's like, well, I showed you my phone. Why don't you show me your phone? I gave you my password. Give me your password. But is it really truly giving if it's giving to get? That's the question. If I'm giving you this to get something, it's the same as the price of admissions. Like, I want to get in this party. It costs $20. So I'm giving you $20 so I can get in the party. Not like, oh, you're welcome to come in the party or welcome to not come. It's like, no, I'm giving you this so I can get it. But we have this unwritten, not even agreement, just this unwritten and unspoken expectation that, oh, if I stop dressing provocatively, then my partner, my mate will also stop doing it. If I stop flirting with people, then they're going to stop flirting with people. If I stop calling or, cut off certain people, then they're going to cut off certain people, or stop following people on social media and they'll start. And that's a really good point in how that subtle form of force and is present. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, that's where that communication part should come in also, and it should be talked about, what is the next step? Are we doing this or are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? When are we going to do this? And what are we going to do? Stuff of that nature. So I just had to throw that out there. That's all.
And that gave me an idea to create a book for people that are in romantic relationships or dating. I kind of did already with the marriage book, but it's called Happily Ever After: Guide for Healthy Marriage. But I do want to say, if anyone picks that book up and you're not married or looking to be married, it's still a good book to get to know someone that you're involved with. It doesn't have to be going toward marriage, what have you. Also, Beyond 50 Shades: A Guide for Healthy Sexual Communication is a good book for that as well. It's specifically in a sexually active relationship that you have certain things clarified, certain conversations about sexual health, consent, implied monogamy, non-monogamy, whatever it may be, your different turn-on, turn-offs, different, holding safe space to talk and share with each other. Because, I mean, let's face it, if you're going to be intimately involved with somebody, whether it's, again, sexual or not, if you're going to be sharing time and space with them, things are going to come up. Past things, past triggers and traumas in your life. You need to know how to communicate, like you said, Charles, how to communicate about that and communicate through that and not use your own pain and trauma to attack the other person. So like, my last partner wore glasses and you wear glasses, and my last partner pulled a knife on me. So I see you in the kitchen. I'm like, it's like, listen, that had nothing to do with, you know what I mean? I'm just giving an outrageous example, but it could be anything. Pulling the knife on me could be anything. It could be abandonment. It could be called back. It could be, some sort of abuse. It could be some sort of control. So I'm just throwing those things in there, but it could be anything. So I hope that's understood. And again, if anyone has any questions or comments, please share that in the chat.
Definitely. And if anybody, that is watching, if you want to, throw in or chime in, please do. But we do have some comments out there. I guess I get to them right now because they were out there for a little bit. We got Izzy Meditates. What's going on, fam? She says, good evening. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate that. And then we got Tamika Lopez, right? What's up, Ladybug? She says, hey, you guys. What's going on, lady? Thanks for tuning in. And we got Jamila J. Choice, the FACTS, the facts of love and fear is the opposite. I appreciate that, Jamila. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you, Jamila.
Everybody there, they're tuning in and checking us out. So we definitely appreciate it. So, but if anybody out there got any comments, please feel free to leave them.
And I do have to send the information to Jamila and to you, LC, about the course, so you can put it up on your page to your people, so that people can join. And yeah, so I'll pull it back up. Is a good point. It's a good conversation. Again, anything else anyone want to talk about? I wanted to just help us look at it as, listen, we're all calling for help and calling for love in some sort of way. And to not get caught on the way it shows up. Again, if it's somebody's abusive and stuff, you should look out for that. But if it's just a call for love, I'm sharing my screen. Okay, let me redo something. Yeah, if it's something like, again, you're confused about something, it's a call for clarity.
Right.
And if we got trauma and triggers, it's a call for truth, a call for trust. And that's what we want, because we don't want to be left with the pain. We don't want to be left with confusion. We don't want to be left with toxicity. What are you replacing it with? Because just say, Charles, you're bleeding. And like, okay, I see I'm bleeding. That's not enough. Like, okay, now how do we help you, right? It's like, hey, yeah, I'm bleeding out of my neck, guys. I thank you for pointing that out. Now, where are we going to eat lunch again? Like, no, we're going to the hospital. So you see something that's a call for help, then you want to get help. And there's a lot of materials that we have available. Again, let me share. my screen again so you can see the website. Can you share my screen? Is this showing up, Charles? Is it the Love 101 showing up? I don't know. Okay.
Yes,
now look.
yes, it was. It was.
There it is. Okay. Yeah. So we're talking about, this is the website. You can check it out. And that's the time you have left to register for the course. Starts on Friday, July 31st. And we have online courses. You have the Healing Toxic Relationships course. Do you want to know how to recognize toxic relationships? Do you want to know how to heal it? Find out more about it here. Toxic Relationships course. You can register here. And you can also take the course right now and look at the old recordings we have. And they're all here. Mm-hmm. You can see that. There's payment options. There's the course book on here. There's everything. Everything's up on here. Also, we have the course schedule. Talks about when we're doing it. And the resources. We talk about the podcast. So Love 101, Feel Good Talk, Facebook, YouTube. So there's the Feel Good Talk channel on YouTube and on Facebook. So let me stop sharing. So yeah, healingtoxicrelationships.com. It's all available. Is there anything else we want to talk about today? Anybody out there that want to get some insight or share anything?
Well, let me go back to the comments again. We just got people out there talking to each other, but we do have something. We just had one pop in, so that's great. All right, we got Izzy saying hello to Tamika, and we also have my man Matthias Regis. What's going on, brother? He says, "Good evening, good people. Thanks for tuning in, brother. Appreciate you."
Peace, Matthias.
Mm-hmm. And I messed his name up. I'm sorry. And Izzy Meditate says, "Do you believe that certain personality type attract toxicity?" I can't get that word to save my life. And people with toxic personality traits. So you got it right there, Naeem. You see the question.
Certain personality type.
Yeah, I can get that out.
Well, I can tell you what I believe, but it would be irrelevant. So I'll tell you what I know. I'll tell you that I know that all personality types attract all other personality types and all types of toxicity and toxic personality, people with toxic personality traits. I don't think it's like, okay, well, I have a fear of abandonment. You are an abandoner. So we're going to ultimately get together, right? How about this? We all have this universal, just like it's universal love is universal fear. We all have fear of, of rejection, of abandonment, of different things. Now, how it shows up for you may be specific to you based on your particular wound and trauma. The thing about the law of attraction, we have to be careful is that although it is true that we attract certain things, energy, vibration, certain things come together. It's not a doomsday scenario where it's like you have no choice. So someone you can attract, like think about it, you can attract someone who is totally toxic. But then does that mean that all of a sudden, they're stuck on you? Like, I can't get them off of me because we just line up. No, you choose them. So more so than you attract people and different personality traits is who do you choose to stick around with, right? Because if I got 24 hours in a day and I'm sharing, 90% of my time with someone who's toxic and I know who's toxic, I can't say, well, it's because that we just, have the personality types that just match up and they're hurt, my crazy and they're crazy. Well, you know what? There's also people out there that you've attracted that are sane, that are loving, that are not so toxic, that you are choosing not to interact with, choosing not to be around, choosing not to share time with. So just like spring cleaning, you got to clean your closet out, clean your house out before you can put new clothes, new things back in there, and same thing with relationships and such. We're so afraid to let go of what we know is not helping us that we hold on to things that are toxic. So you got hoarder, you got whole shows about people who are hoarders. But what about people who are hoarding toxic relationships.
Hmm.
Hoarding, you know, because at one time back in 1865, we had a good time. Like, yeah, I know that was 150 something years, many years ago. Y'all had a good time. Right now, since when have you had a good time? It's like, well, and I think back it's been 1865. Yeah, that's the last time we had a good time together. Well, I think it's time to move on. Time to reclaim that relationship or choose another relationship, and to let that go. Because if y'all haven't figured things out since 1865, then there's not much hope. So again, we hoard these things, and we hoard because we are addicted. So I do agree that we are addicted to toxicity, addicted to toxic personalities and traits, because we choose for that, and it's easier to choose for what's you're addicted to because it's comfortable and it's familiar. Rather, let me say this: it's not always comfortable to be around someone who's abusive, but it is familiar. And human beings, and I'm speaking to all the human beings in the audience, human beings, this is something about human nature, are very drawn to what's familiar, and it's very hard to get a human being away from a familiar environment, familiar person, familiar food, familiar whatever. Not all the foods you like and are familiar with are good for you, but they sure taste good, have a lot of good memories, what have you. You may have the bubble guts afterwards, but it's like, oh, but my grandmother used to make that for me.
Right.
Yeah, but you up all night and you can't sleep because sugar is spiking and everything else. Like, yeah, but it was sure tasted good, right? So it's not that there's something wrong with you. It's our nature to choose things that are familiar. And it takes a little extra effort to say, you know what? I understand that it's not familiar for me to choose to go down this path with someone who, wow, they're actually doing things for me and they're not expecting anything in return. Well, they're actually treating me to lunch and they're not trying to follow that up with a date, a kiss, or whatever. Oh, you owe me lunch now. They're actually giving me a gift. I got to learn how to receive now. I got to learn how to receive better and be a better giver when it comes to, I'm going to give something freely, then I'm not going to be expecting something in return. Even if it's back to what LC said about, well, I'm going to cut out these people that I'm going to talk to while I'm in this relationship.
Right.
I'm not expecting that other person to do it. Or if I am, before I do it, say, listen, I was thinking I would like if we both made these type of adjustments. Like maybe if I, stop talking to this people, if you don't flirt with it, whatever it is that y'all at least talk about it. All right. Talk about it. And that way you won't be caught on the blind side when they haven't followed your unwritten silent scripts for them. And we get mad when people don't follow our silent scripts. Even in conversations, I'm like, yeah, man, you know what they said to me? They said so-and-so. And then you're like, well, they were right. They should have told you off about that. Like, what? No, you're supposed to be like, no, they ain't supposed to talk to you like that. That was my script. You're supposed to agree with me, but you're saying they told you off for touching stuff that don't belong to you. Yeah, they told me I shouldn't be touching it because it don't belong to me. Well, they kind of right about that. No, you're supposed to be like, no, it ain't wrong for saying that. I'm having my own scripts. And we get mad when people don't follow our scripts, but again, they don't have to. So to conclude, thank you for that question, Izzy. We attract everybody and every type of personality. Who we choose, that's up to us. That's individual by individual basis. I can't. Let's just use something that everyone's pretty familiar with. Zodiac charts. Leos, right? This is Leo season. I can't say that, oh, well, Leos.
Thank you.
Right? So Charles, Leos attract Aquariuses. So Leos and Aquariuses are good together. And so therefore, I'm like, okay, well, let's say Leos and Aquariuses, whatever the case. Does that mean that Leos can't get along with does that mean that Leos don't come in contact with all the other 11 and 12 signs, that they can't get along with all the other 11 and 12? But when you start putting up a confirmation bias type thing like that, well, I can't, you're having a good conversation with somebody and let's say they're, Sagittarius, whatever. You're like, Leos and Sagittarius not supposed to get along. I'm just making this up, by the way. So all of y'all who are into this, don't be sending me stuff because I'm just using that as an example. Like, then you talking, you're having a good time talking to this person, like, oh man, it's having a great time. You know, what's your sign? Like, Sagittarius, like, we ain't supposed to be getting along. What you mean you're a Sagittarius? You ain't a Sagittarius for real. Maybe you're on the cusp. But anyway, you know, we human beings are strange like that. We can make stuff up and then believe it, and then it becomes real and it becomes part of our experience because we put our belief on it so hard that it becomes what we see. And so
yeah, that's true. That's very true, man. We got Tamika Lopez, right? She says yes because that's not it. She's crazy. Anyway, and she says yes, honey. What's going on? Tamika's crazy. Anyway, she's playing around tonight. But anyway, Kendra, what's going on, fam? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I was wondering when you was gonna pop in. We definitely appreciate you. But hey, Naeem, great stuff here, man. Great stuff here. And I was gonna say, you know, people also, like you said, are familiar with the whole situation, so they get comfortable in that situation, and it's like, well, you know, I just deal with it since I'm so used to it. You know what I mean? And that's you know, that can be a problem. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people will tend to just settle because of that. You know, and this is what she was talking about. Leo season. Yup, she's a Leo as well. That's right. I'm a Leo. Where the Leos at? Let me stop. They ain't got nothing to do with toxic relationships. But thanks for tuning in, Tamika. I appreciate you. But yeah, so they, you know, they're familiar with that whole situation, so they feel comfortable. And a lot of people would rather just stay comfortable than to, you know, be a little uncomfortable. And I always say, in order to be great, you have to stay uncomfortable. So that's just me. But you know, I'm not, you know, it coincides kind of. So if you want a better relationship, I guess, or a better situation, you have to sometimes be uncomfortable with something new, you know, to make that thing work. You know, right.
And that's different than accepting pain and abuse because you think, oh, love is pain or love hurts. Or
and that's another thing, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that takes me on. People say that, I'm like, nah, that's not true at all. Love made me bust the car windows out. You know, love made me stab the tires. Love made me go to jail. That's not true. That's not love. That's insanity. So again, you know, I don't know.
Well, let me just jump in there for a second. So that was full. That was good. Like I was processing it all and saying, okay, what do I really want to share? Because there were so many nuggets there. But Izzy, thank you for that question. And then Naeem, thanks for how you broke it down. There's so much, and then I'll go here. I just keep coming back to self. And I can't knock anyone else. This is just the path that I'm on. You know, it'll go to another level, but it comes back to self, because in order to heal, we got to begin to face whatever that stuff is that is triggering us, or we're allowing to trigger us, or that's causing us to respond and want to control. It gets back to the chart that you shared with us, Naeem, about fear versus love. You know, again, when I share my experience, we didn't even have a conversation. You know, I just assumed, okay, I'm in this, so let me just cut that out. You know, and there was nothing physical going on with these fellas either. In my mind, I have been conditioned to think, okay, you're in a relationship with someone, you shouldn't be, you know, on the phone with many more, things like that. Not understanding these were my brothers. You know, so these were conversations that we had to learn to have later on. He didn't even have an issue with it at the time. Like, he was like, I didn't tell you to do that. You know, so getting back to having these in-depth or just really honest and true conversations, and then being honest with ourselves so that you can say, well, you know what, I may not be able to handle that. And you can still walk away in peace and love, hopefully, because I think sometimes we hold on so tight, as you stated earlier, that we're not only are we not getting our healing, we may be very well in some ways keeping that person from meeting the person that maybe they should be with, because we're hoarding, as you say, in the relationship. So that was yummy. I'll come back because there was more to it, but it was so much substance there. I'll come back later and comment.
Please do. Thank you very much, Elsie.
That was really good, LC. Definitely. Where we at now? Now, you want me to share your screen, brother?
You know what? Before you share my screen, let me bring it up to this. Okay, you can share my screen now. Okay. So what I'm showing here is the chart that's based on subtle and obvious forms of abuse. Now, I use this in order to show that just because something doesn't seem to register as abuse doesn't mean it's not abuse. So for example, we have on this side, the obvious or direct attack would be verbal attacks, so arguments, intimidation, yelling at someone, that sort of thing, threats. And then the subtle abuse would be the silent treatment, not speaking, behaving as if the other person doesn't even exist, even when you're in the same space. And further, we are saying that the silent treatment is a very important and very effective form of emotional abuse. Although it doesn't seem like much, it's just as abusive as direct verbal attack. Why? Because just because the person isn't saying hateful things out loud about you, does that mean they're not saying those hateful things silently in their own mind? Is the energy not felt? The silent treatment is a manipulation tactic meant as a punishment for the other person or people, and that's important. You're only doing that because you're not responding to their silent scripts for them. So now they just went and shut down and got silent. It is intentional and it is felt, and it does not feel good. That is why it's emotionally abusive. So, that's one of the many, many things that we have here. Anybody else can think of forms of subtle emotional abuse. Subtle, not just emotional, but any type of abuse. So for example, you would say grabbing somebody and not letting them leave the house is assault, right? But what about blocking the door so they can't get out the house? Is that still abuse? That's still right. You know what the law calls that? When you block somebody's movement from getting in and out of somewhere, they call it, even if it's for 5 seconds, they call it kidnapping.
Wow.
Literally. Like if somebody's in a store, like just think about it. If you I'm gonna use a funny example. Like let's say you're in the restaurant and you ate, and they're like, "Oh, did you enjoy your food? Can we get you dessert?" And I don't know what accent this is. Just go with it. So they're like, "No, we're good. We don't want dessert." Like, no, I insist. You have the dessert. The dessert is very good. We have the dessert for you. And you're like, "I'm all right. Just give me the check." They bring the check to you. You pay the check. They're like, "Before you go, can I offer you just one spoon of the dessert? It's a special today." And you're like, "No, it's okay." You start getting up to leave, and they block the door. Like, no, you got to have the dessert. You can't go before you taste. Just one taste, one lick of the dessert, right. One little lick of the dessert. Is that okay? No, they try to give you the sweet dessert. It's a gelato, very good. No, it's still kidnapping. It's still attack and abuse. So whether someone's stopping you for 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, from where you freely choose to go. And again, if you are not a U.S. Marshal and the person is not a prisoner in your custody, then you are abusing them and attacking them and committing a crime at the same time. So my question again to everyone was, can we think of any forms of subtle abuse? Because sometimes you may not see that. Again, the silent treatment is still abusive. We've all gone through that. We've all even been on one or both sides of it. But we look at people yelling and say, look at them screaming and yelling at each other in the street. But you ever seen people walking down the street and they're just like that energy to just like it's a big wall up, all that, how you can feel, how you feel when it's going on around you. You feel like the person's 1,000 miles away, even though they're right there, and that's why when we talk about separation, the fifth S in the fear side, separation is a call for joining, for connection, for union. And separation doesn't mean physically separating, because we're in different states and different places right now. All of us here and all of us here on the screen, we're still connected. We're still present with each other, with you. Right. So it's about joining on a common purpose, a common idea, a common, being present in the moment. That's what we're talking about. more so than being physically connected. So people in relationships will sometimes say, well, we need to live together, or we need to be around each other. I need to see you so and so many times. It's like, well, what does it matter if you don't feel connected? It's like, all right, it's like doing times like, oh, well, I got to see you every Saturday and Sunday. So you're just sitting up in the house or wherever at the event, just on your phones next to each other. Like, all right, I'm here. I'm in front of you. Mm-hmm. I'm with you now. It's like, no, your body is there, but your mind is somewhere else. So when we're talking about presence, we're not talking about physical. We're talking about mental, emotional, energetic presence. And
it doesn't matter the length or time that you spend, is the quality. You know what I mean? So you can spend all day long with somebody, all week long, and like you said, feel 1,000 miles away. And again, they need to be bickering or not even bickering, just not saying anything. So me personally, I would rather have that 2 hour of, quality time per week versus a whole week of seeing someone there that don't mean anything to me, or not saying they don't mean anything to me, but we're just absent as far as both of us. We're not communicating or anything. Like you said, cell phones. That's another big thing. I see that all the time. Even when we go out to eat now, you see people they're on their cell phones constantly. And it's like everybody, like the whole entire table, they're sitting there. I'm like, what is so important? Like, I had to get out of that, man. Like, because I've caught myself doing it a few times. So I reprogram myself. Now I don't even touch, like I try not to touch that phone. You know what I mean? If I don't have to. Only time I touch it if I have to do something as far as business is concerned. But
that's a good habit.
Words of friends. I'm a beast on it. Anybody want to see me, give me a call or look me up. But anyway, other than that, I don't I really don't, like the phone that much.
That's a good habit, Charles. It's really good.
I'm trying my best to get out of that, because it is so annoying when you're talking to someone. Now they got the freedom to do what they want to do, but it's so annoying to talk to someone with a cell phone and you're like, hey man, look, or hey lady, and they're just looking down, playing with the phone. It's like, come on, man, like let's get this over with. Let's talk. We're talking serious here. Let's like communicate. Let's do something. But that's the thing I said. I got out of that habit. So again, hopefully a lot of other people can do that as well. So we do got some comments out there. Matter of fact, we got a lot of comments. So let me get to that right quick. We got a lot of people saying hi to everybody. We got Izzy. She says, "Hey Kenny, Kendra Moore." They got a little thing with that Kenny. I don't know what's going on with that, but she's always teasing Kendra with that. And we also have Jamila J. Choice. She's saying, what's up to Kendra? But we do have a comment out there. If you're anyone, wait a minute. She's Izzy puts out there, if you or anyone you know are in an abusive relationship, please reach out to the National Domestic Hotline, Violence Hotline via phone. You can call 1-800-799-7233 or via chat or text on their website at www.thehotline.org/. So we'll put that back up there again.
Thanks, Izzy.
Appreciate that, because a lot of people are being abused out there and scared to say something. You know what I mean? And Tamika Lopez says absolutely, and my man Dominique says facts. So
thank you, everybody.
Yeah, man, everybody. Thanks for all your comments or concerns. And if you have anything you would like to mention, you definitely can do that. So, but yeah, man, that's a big thing with me. So
that's important.
Hold on for 1 second. I'm sorry. We got one more, and it is a question. So I want to get that. Dominique says, "What's up, Dominic?" He says, "When I'm out on a date, my phone stays in my pocket on vibrate." Hey, same here. Mine stay on vibrate all the time. I can't stand something ringing on. Notifications constantly. So I don't know what you think about that one, Naeem.
What's that?
What you think? Your phone stay in your pocket on vibrate too? What you
say? I wasn't. Oh,
exactly. See. But thanks for that, Dominic. Appreciate it.
Well, I was gonna say that a good practice is to not touch your phone an hour before you go to bed and an hour after you wake up. At least, it's good just to get your mind and just tone down, turn off the blue light, and stop stimulating your neurons unnecessarily. Contributes to insomnia and sleep deprivation, all that. And it's funny, back to that other example about people doing the silent treatment. It's really a call for attention, because you know when they're like, no, I don't want to tell you. You know, they'll just being silent, like, what's going on? Can I? What's going on? I want to talk to you. Like, and you're like, no, let's talk. I'm like, right. But then when you go and say, all right, fine, whatever, and you start giving attention to something or someone else, like, oh, no, wait, what you doing? Right? Then it's like, now you want the attention because it's a call for attention.
Yeah, they had a perfect example I seen on Facebook. It was a guy that was sitting on the side of the bed, and he was looking down and out, and him and his woman were both in thought. She was laying down on her side, and she was thinking, I wish he would stop, playing or whatever, and come over and hug me, even though we were mad. I guess they were mad at each other, and he was saying the same exact thing. So it's like, wow, they both want the same thing, but they're trying to put up this wall that's really unnecessary. Just say, okay, my bad, or whatever, and just, get together and do what you need to do.
And I would take it a step further. That's a good example. I would take it a step further and say, okay, if you sitting here having your silent calls for love and you want a hug, but you're not willing to give one, and the other one sitting here having their silent call for love, they want a hug, not willing to give one, ask yourself, am I willing to sit here in silent misery all day and all night or whatever? Because let me assume that this other person is not going to do it. Because you're waiting you want a hug, but you want it to come from them. You want it to come from outside in. How about this? If you're not willing to say, you know what, I'm going to ask them, can I give you a hug? If you're not going to ask that question, can I give you a hug? Because maybe they don't want to be touched. Who knows? People do this. They live in the same house, don't want to talk. People, it's insane. But if they don't want to be touched, you got to at least ask, can I give you a hug? Can I have a hug? And you got to make a decision, an executive decision. If they say no, then what am I going to do from there? Or if I'm not willing to ask, because this is what I want, is to give and receive a hug. If I'm not willing to even open my mouth and ask that, then I need to carry my miserable self somewhere else. That would, because why? Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you stay around in a toxic, miserable situation that, again, you're creating? Each of them are creating the misery for themselves. It's just like someone taking a little bit of poison and their stomach is hurting now, and another person taking the poison and their stomach is hurting, and they're blaming the other person because, well, my stomach is hurt. It only started hurting after I had eaten that with you, so it's your fault. It's like y'all both ingested the same thing, meaning bringing it back to what we're talking about, the same toxic thought. You both took that in, which was something usually along the lines of, oh, they don't love me, they don't care about me, they don't want to express affection to me, or whatever the case, whatever you may be feeling. And if you want to receive that, the question is, are you willing to give it? And if you're not willing to give it, you still deserve it. But where's your willingness? Where's your willingness when it comes to actually? Because willingness cuts a whole lot of crap, y'all. It's like, if I'm willing to, like, sometimes we assume just because a person's being silent or shutting down, it's like, well, how about this? Here's a good question. Take notes. I'm gonna pause for 5 seconds just to get your attention and the dramatic effect. So here's a question. Do you want to join or do you want to be separate right now? Let's ask the question. All right. It's a simple question, because if someone's acting like they want to be separate, just like these two in the example you were saying, Charles, but they really want to join, you could say, do you want to join? Do you want to hug? Or do you want to be separate? Because if you want to be separate, or meaning physically separate, then just go and be separate. But if you really want to join, have the mental fortitude and integrity to be like, if someone asks you that, you're like, yes, I do want to join, even though I'm acting like a sad puppy over here. I actually do want somebody to pet my head. Somebody meaning you, meaning right now, meaning a hug. Okay. Or be willing to say, do you want to join? And that cuts down a lot of stuff, because guess what? What if the person doesn't want to join? They're acting stink, they're acting separate, they're shut down, and they're like, no, I'm not feeling you. I don't want to be around you. It's like, well, great. Now we can save some time, ourselves a whole lot of time, and just cut this down and go be around people who want to be around you. How about that? Why would you want to be around somebody who don't want to be around you? and vice versa, or go be with yourself. But yeah, we really abuse ourselves in relationships like this.
But I think, you know, the conversation that we're having, a lot of people, you know, you just have to unlearn what you learned. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you only know what you know. So if you're dealing with that all the time, that's how you've been dealing with stuff all your life, you know, just to get that, you know, that just to relearn certain things. You know, just like I said when I first met you, like a lot of things I think are totally different now as far as, you know, the love aspect is concerned. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's simple, straight to the point. You know, first, you know, everybody confuses that word love. You know, I love this person, you know, love is this, love is that. And when it's really just one simple, you know, love is easy. You know what I mean? It's not all those words or acronyms you put on, whatever you put on them and all that crazy stuff. So I had to learn that though. You know what I mean? So, you know, being as though, you know, when we started, you know, communicating together, I started really thinking, and it really helps. You know what I mean? It really helps as far as not just relationships. We're talking about friendships. We're talking about everything. You know what I mean? It's not. I'm talking about everything. So it definitely helps. So hopefully these people will see what's going on and they'll sign up for that course, HealingRelationships.com, because then they'll be able to see exactly where they are. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Elsie. I'll cut you off.
That's what happens when we get to a place where, well, sometimes some of it, it's easy to love. Like some people are just kind of made up that way. As far as, you know, we all have our faults and things of that nature, but I mean, just a loving nature, you just loving and nurturing. But that's why we have to be willing to be receptive. And the more receptive we can learn from one another, we can sit back and not feel like we know everything and be open to individuals like Naeem. I mean, I think that that's a beautiful thing that you were able to open yourself up enough, especially as a man, right? Enough to receive that from another brother so that you can love probably yourself, but also your family, your friends. So you broke it down in a sense that it may have started with your wife or your mate, but you know, it spills over into all of your relationships. And to get back to what Naeem was saying, the thing is, what I learned is I'm always quick to say, you know what, I don't like holding that energy. I don't want to stay mad. Like, so typically I'm the one that will forgive faster, you know. But then there have been scenarios where I've had people to abuse me in that. You're like, oh, you know what? We're going to give her the business. We're going to give her the silent treatment. I'm never going to say I'm sorry, which I don't really need to hear sorry. What I'm coming to the table with is let's figure out how we can work, you know, beyond whatever the conflict was. And let's identify what our faults are, or whatever our shortcomings are, and work on that. But what I've had to get stronger about is, if you don't want it, and I think Naeem, you touched on it, if you don't want my love, I can walk away in love. And I've been in a relationship where we took some months away. We took months apart, and it hurt like heck because you're used to being with this person, right? But you're not communicating or whatever is going on. I had to dig deep inside of me to love myself enough to say, I gotta go for my own sanity, my own peace. And that also gave him time to reevaluate some things and for us to decide whether we want to be together or not. And it's not impossible, but the work has to be done on all sides. We can't just be walking around here loving on everybody and they're still being abusive. So we're allowing that to happen. So we got to admit that, like, if every time you're telling a story and you're talking about what a man did to you, a woman did, and this is what you're always talking about, it's like, hey, well, you know, what is going on within you, and what type of work do you need to do so that you can receive that kind of love that you say you want.
Right. And that coincides right here with Jamila J. Choi. She says boundaries was an important section in the course for me. You know what I mean? And like you were saying, you know, you would go back, you would be forgiven, but then you would still, you know, take that abuse versus having that boundaries where you're like, okay, you know what? Since you don't want to, you know, you're taking my kindness for weak, I'm gonna go ahead and step off and do what I need to do. So again, that's where the boundaries come in at. And Tamika Lopez Ray says, staying mad at someone is literally exhausting. I can't carry that. It's simply stubborn and that's true. It takes more energy to be mad at someone than it does just to say, you know what, let's just squash it. Let's I was wrong for this, and let's just let's start all over again. You know what I mean? Versus going around, oh, here he come or here she come. You know what I mean? It's like too much. It's too much. You know what I mean? It's too much energy. So, and Dreddy Gale says, as always, thanks for another session. Mr. Feel Good, Dr. Love, and Visionary Love. Okay. You got a new name, Visionary Love. There you go. Appreciate all of this loving, amazing, truth-telling. Amen. Hey, thanks, Dreddy Gale. We always appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. And she says, apology, Dr.
That's
Feel
right,
Good.
Dr. Feel Good.
Get my name right. So let me stop.
You got credentials.
I'm still trying to get it right. You know what I'm saying? And she's saying hello to everybody. Hello, Bravo Young. Thank you for tuning in. So thanks everybody for tuning in. But yeah, that was great conversation right there. Great dialogue. So.
Yes. Well, do we want to play another commercial, or do we want to just close out here?
Nah, we can go ahead to another commercial, then we'll come back, and then
Sounds good.
we'll close out from that point. So let's go right into commercial. This is the A Game. And that is the A Game, great for energy, strength, and libido. So if you want your free sample, give me a call at 302-723-2836. Again, 302-723-2836. Get your free sample of the A Game. So
and I want to say one thing.
Go ahead, Naeem.
Before we close out. This LC got dropped. But
you dropped off. Okay.
Two things that I would like for my teachings to inspire and to remind people of. And one is that it's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to have and enforce boundaries, like Jamila was saying. It's okay to say no, to not be okay with certain things. You don't have to put up with what you don't want to put up with. We think relationships are always about compromise and giving up. It's like if you are giving up and doing something you don't want to do, that's not loving. All right. You never have to give up and violate yourself for the sake of a healthy relationship. And I know some people use the word compromise in that way, but when I use the word, I'm saying I'm giving up something of my own standards, my own peace of mind in order to be. So for example, say you want your own bank account and you want to be with someone's like, oh no, all of our finances should be joined. Like, oh, well, I guess if I'm going to be with them, I got to compromise. Like, no, you don't. No, you don't. There are people who will want to be with you exactly as you are, with exactly your standards and exactly your boundaries and exactly how you show up as you are, and will appreciate you and love you and receive you exactly as you are. The second thing is willingness. Willingness on both sides, when any two people will never be equal. But if it's not there, you need to move on. It takes two in order to have a healthy relationship of interaction. Like you can have a healthy relationship where, like you said, Charles and LC, where it's like, okay, I can walk away in love and we don't have to interact. If you're going to interact, it's going to be healthy. There's got to be willingness on both sides. And I want everyone to realize that just because your willingness is there and that 200%, the other person, your 200% doesn't make up for their 0%.
Right.
And there are some people who will, to the day they die, not be willing to have a healthy relationship with you, not be willing to have clarity, not be willing to have trust, not be willing to have appreciation, not be willing to have communication. They will not be willing to do that. And you trying to drag them into a better way of seeing things or a better relationship or, a healthy relationship is the same as someone telling you, you can't leave till you have this. You have to stay till you have this. It's the same thing. They think they're giving you the best thing on earth, but they're stopping you from doing what you want to do, which is leave the restaurant. That's force. That's fear. So you trying to force your stuff on somebody, even if it's this toxic relationships course or what you learned or something, it's still not loving if the other person doesn't receive it and want it equally for themselves, or want it for themselves. They don't have to be equal to your willingness, but they have to want it and be willing to show up to receive it, to demonstrate it. So that's all I wanted to say there.
Awesome. Yep. So anything you got, LC?
I'm just taking it all in. I'm selfishly taking it all in. Because I'm aware of what I've been working on. So I'll have more to say in the future, but right now, this is good. It's good. And I hope that our listeners are taking it all in as well. And yes, identifying and knowing when you are being abused, but knowing what's going on the inside. What's going on within is you are the most important thing when it comes down to being loved. Because if you are healing and you're loving, then you'll pour that out. If you know that's how, if you know overall that's how you are showing up, then don't doubt that. But when we're not getting what we need, if we're being abused, and now with Feel Good Talk and the Love Doctor, we're getting clarity. Remember, we talked about that word that came up during the network, being clear on it. Like sometimes we want to doubt it. You sense on the inside when something is not right. We have that. You can call it intuition. You can call it discernment. Call it whatever you want to call it. But overall, it gets to a certain point where you just know something is not right. And if you keep feeling that, and the same people or person keeps making you feel that, we got to do something about that thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yup. And I like the fact that you said you first. You got to find out what's wrong with you. What are you doing wrong? And I think a lot of people mess up when they go from one relationship to another relationship, without having that space and time to heal and figure out what's going on with them. Even if it is counseling that you may need. But, when you talk counseling, then people think, oh, that's for crazy people. Oh, that's for, so again, I'm just shooting the breeze. But I just want to tell everybody how they can find us. They can find us on LinkedIn at Feel Good Talk, Facebook at Feel Good Talk, YouTube at FGT, Mind, Body, Soul, and Business. They can find us on Instagram at feel.goodtalk. And you can email us also at feelgoodtalk113@gmail.com. And I just want to tell you about some of the shows that we do have here at Feel Good Talk. We have the live shows. Of course, it's Feel Good Talk Love 101. That's Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Me, Naeem, Najib, and our new addition, author, visionary LC Logan. So check us out. We're talking about the universal principles of love. And also Thursdays, we have Let's Talk About It. That's at 7 p.m. with Izzy Meditates and Kendra Moore. We also have Williams World on Fridays at 6 p.m. Actually, we're going to change that, but we'll let everybody know exactly what time and date that'll be. But for right now, Fridays at 6 p.m. This is my man, William Dickerson. All the hot topics. Check him out. Jamil J's Girl Talks on Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. She's coming all the way from California, so definitely check her out. Give Me Some Sugar, Baking with Steven on Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. He'll be going until September, but he's coming all the way from Arizona. Naeem's trying to throw me off, but it ain't going to work today, brother. And pre-recorded shows, we have Mindfulness Mondays with Izzy Meditates is Monday at 9 a.m. Words from the Heart with Shayna Gordine, Tuesdays at 9 a.m. More Life with Essential Oils on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. And for the kids, we have Cassandra's Corner on Saturdays at 10 a.m. right here on Feel Good Talk, Mind, Body, Soul, and Business. Now, that was a mouthful, so a little thirsty now. So we got a lot of comments, so we're going to jump on those comments right quick. And then let's see where we're at. Boom, boom. I gotta search for them. There's so many of them. Let's see. We'll start here. All right. Let's see. Izzy Meditate says, yes, it is. Boundaries are important in every relationship. Yes, they are. Fatima West says, makes sense. Tamika Lopez Ray says, some people are so programmed to negativity, it becomes their normal. Exactly. We were just talking about that. A lot of people think it's normal to, like, if that's all you know, that's all you know. You know what I mean? And some people just attracted to that negativity. So again, thanks for that, Tamika. Fatima also says it's great insight and perspective. And also she says exactly what is my part or portion. Okay, she's talking about, you healing yourself. And of course, we got author visionary Elsie Logan doing double duty. She says, hey, beautiful people. So what's going on, Elsie Logan? But hey man, great conversation. Again, I want to give a shout out to us too. We had a great time on Sunday at the Let's Go Network mixer. It was awesome. Had a great time. So again, we're going to take this thing on the road. We'll be in a city near you soon. So if anybody's interested in having us, just let us know and we'll come there and give the course. That's my man Naeem Najib. He's doing this thing. So check him out. Also, we got Elsie Logan, the Phenomenal Women's Network, and of course, Feel Good Talk. We all combined forces and we're going out and we're trying to spread love. Is that right? Did I say it right, Naeem? Love.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So definitely check us out. Hey, we have a great conversations, and wherever you want us, we'll be there. So again, we're going on tour. We'll let you know the dates. I don't know when the next one is. It'll be, was it next month, LC?
August the 22nd.
August the 22nd. So we'll tell you exactly where we'll be on August the 22nd. And Fatima West says, Naeem, class this weekend.
Yep, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, y'all. Check out the site.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. She says, woohoo! Voice don't go that high, but
Come on, Charles, you gotta start practicing, man. What's going on here?
But again, great conversation. Hey, LC, thanks for coming on. It's definitely a great addition. So I can't wait, to see what's going to happen with this whole situation now. So we definitely appreciate you for coming on. Naeem, you know how I feel about you, brother. Thanks for, just thanks in general, man. I appreciate you. And
hope you feel good talking to me.
I feel great talking to you. Hey, so we got
yeah.
So again, hey, listen, everybody. This is Feel Good Talk Love 101. I'm your host, Charles Brake. That's my man, Naeem Najib. And then we have the lovely author, visionary, Elsie Logan. So we'll see you next week, the same time, 7 p.m. right here on Feel Good Talk, Mind, Body, Soul, and Business. As we always do, when we leave out of here, we got to give the peace sign. So here we go. Peace.
Peace.